The Kremlin has reacted to the United States allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles to strike targets in Russia, accusing President Biden of fueling tensions. It's also warning the move could escalate the conflict. The decision by the outgoing US president is a major policy shift.
As the conflict between Ukraine and Russia enters a new phase, the United States has made a pivotal decision that could significantly alter the battlefield dynamics. For months, Ukraine lobbied for permission to use American-made weapons to strike beyond Russian border zones. Now, as Joe Biden's presidency nears its conclusion, the US has lifted restrictions, allowing Ukraine to target military assets deeper into Russian territory. This policy shift, driven by heightened Russian aggression and North Korea's active involvement, has sparked intense debate about its impact on the war and the broader geopolitical landscape. The newly authorized use of American-made Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, marks a major escalation in the military aid provided to Ukraine. These supersonic guided missiles, capable of striking targets up to 300 kilometers away, can be armed with conventional or cluster munitions. Designed by Lockheed Martin, ATACMS are launched from HIMARS and MLRS platforms, systems already in Ukraine's arsenal. While Ukraine has previously relied on domestically produced drones for deep strikes, ATACMS offers a more destructive capability, enabling Ukraine to target critical Russian military infrastructure. This includes air bases, logistical hubs, and command networks supporting the ongoing conflict. The Kursk region, a focal point of Ukraine's counteroffensive, is among the key areas where these missiles are expected to make an impact.
Є далекобійні можливості, у України є далекобійні дрони свого власного виробництва. У нас тепер є довгий Нептун, і не один, і тепер у нас є ATACMS. І ми все це будемо використовувати.
However, the decision to arm Ukraine with such potent weaponry comes with limitations. Pentagon assessments indicate that Russia has already moved most of its aircraft and other assets out of ATACMS's range, limiting the immediate strategic advantage. Additionally, Ukraine's current stock of these costly missiles is insufficient for sustained use. Despite these constraints, Kyiv views the move as a crucial step towards countering Russia's intensified missile and drone strikes on its energy infrastructure. The US policy shift also reflects growing concerns over North Korea's military support for Russia. With reports of over 10,000 North Korean troops deployed to assist Russian forces in the Kursk region, the decision signals a clear message of deterrence against this evolving alliance. Biden's administration, facing mounting pressure to bolster Ukraine before his term ends, aims to reinforce Kyiv's position on the battlefield while responding to these escalating threats. The US decision has drawn a mixed response from Ukraine's allies and adversaries. France has welcomed the move, signaling its openness to supporting Ukraine's long-range strike capabilities with Scalp missiles. The UK is also evaluating whether to extend the operational range of its Storm Shadow cruise missiles. Meanwhile, Germany has reiterated its refusal to supply longer-range Taurus missiles, highlighting divisions within the Western alliance over how far to escalate support for Ukraine. On the flip side, the decision has provoked sharp warnings from Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin has labeled the use of US weapons within Russian borders as a significant escalation, potentially drawing NATO directly into the conflict. The Kremlin has hinted at retaliatory measures, ranging from sabotage operations in Western allied nations to supporting Iranian-backed groups targeting US forces in the Middle East. Dmitry Peskov, Putin's spokesperson, warned that the US move could usher in a new round of tension with unpredictable consequences. The timing of the US decision is also significant. With Donald Trump poised to take office, the incoming administration has already voiced skepticism. Trump's camp views the escalation as a dangerous gamble, with some likening it to an open invitation to World War III. Trump has pledged to negotiate an end to the conflict, presenting a stark contrast to Biden's approach. Domestically, the US faces its own set of challenges. Officials have expressed concerns about depleting America's stockpile of ATACMS, which could weaken its own military readiness. Additionally, Biden's move could complicate future negotiations with Russia, further entrenching the conflict rather than paving the way for a resolution. The US decision to lift restrictions on Ukraine's use of long-range weapons underscores the complex calculus driving international responses to the war. While the move bolsters Ukraine's ability to counter Russian aggression and disrupt key operations, it also carries significant risks. The potential for retaliation, heightened tensions with Russia, and divisions among allies raise questions about the broader implications of this escalation. As Biden's presidency winds down, his administration is walking a fine line, seeking to empower Ukraine without provoking a full-scale global conflict. Whether this strategy will alter the course of the war or simply prolong its devastation remains an open question, one that the international community will grapple with in the months ahead.